Okay, here we go. The next part in my Navy series. Okay, so I went through the part where we kind of get to boot camp and we get off the bus and everything's crazy. We're getting yelled at, we're getting MF'd, we're getting this, we're getting that. We're in line, we get our crew cuts, we pick up our clothes, and we start to head to our barracks. Now, I'm gonna look for some pictures because I know I definitely have some pictures, and if I can find them, I'm gonna throw them up here on screen so you guys can kind of take into context what it looked like when I went there. Now, this was at Great Lakes in Illinois. Literally, it's like 10-15 minutes from like the Wisconsin border, right on the lake, and it was in February. It's cold as shit. We literally had something called a snow watch, and I'll get into that maybe a little bit later when I start getting into it. But literally, it's people outside basically shoveling snow. And as we're walking up to the barracks, we're in 3 lines, single file lines, shoulder to shoulder, step left, right, left, right, left, right. And you know we're trudging through the snow, and we're passing all these what later I come to find out is called snow watch. They're staring at us. They're calling booters, 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 fresh meat, and that's how it was when I was there. I don't know what it's like now. Any of you that are active military or got out and you went through boot camp, I would say give it like 5 years after me. I went to boot camp in 1997, so if you went in like early 2000s, let me know what it's like. But so we're marching, we come to the barracks. It's this big building, and we go in. It looks like an airplane hangar, and you just see row after row after row after row after row, double bunk beds with just like a little gear locker in the middle, open face. Nothing was closed. No privacy for your stuff at all. And as we march in, they kind of just like number us off, and whoever was in, however it numbered out, that's who your bunkmate was. And I ended up getting a bunkmate. What was his last name? I think his last name was Hamilton. He was from Texas. He was younger than me. I think he was 19, 20 years old. The kid had never seen the ocean, never seen a lake. He'd seen like a river. I guess there was a river where he grew up, so he had seen natural water before. And I was like, dude, why'd you join the Navy? He's like, well, I didn't want to get shot, and I couldn't fly a plane. And I was like, all right, well, like valid point. So I bunked with him. I took the top bunk. I don't even know if I took it or I got it or whatever, but now that I think back to it, it was the best choice. It was so nice up there. It was nice and open. I didn't feel like I was in a coffin. We basically made our beds, and we had to make it like hospital corners and sharp 45 angles at the bottom when you fold it and tuck it under. And I mean, literally, like, I don't know if some of you remember, but you have to like bounce a quarter off. I mean, that's what it was like. The chief would come by and bounce a coin. It was exactly like that. The 2 chiefs that we had, one of them's name was Chief McClune, and I can't remember the other one's name. I'll probably, when I go back and look, they have like a yearbook or whatever, I'll probably find his name in there. But these guys were old school chiefs, salty. I mean, they did years out at sea. They had full sleeve tattoos with underwater scenes, because one of them was under ordnance diver. So he had like the guy with the suit and the tubes and chains and fish and octopus and sharks. I mean, it was really nice, really colorful. You could tell he took really good care of it. It wasn't like faded in any way. He took good care of this, and it was beautiful. But just old school guys, tough. They had that scowl on their face, when they talk to you, and just standing there, they just looked mean, I mean, you knew that you weren't in grade school. You knew that something was up. You knew if you didn't do what you had to do, you're getting your ass kicked. So what ended up happening was, I guess they picked 2 leaders. They picked an RPOC and an APOC recruit. I don't remember what the hell it's called. Something office commander or something. I don't know. He was like our leader, and he had an assistant. And then we had a yeoman, and the yeoman was like basically the secretary. They're the ones, like when you march building to building, the yeoman would run up to the door and announce the division that we were and sign us in and all that kind of stuff. But the APOC and RPOC, basically, they were kind of like the motivators. They were the ones who would like sing the cadence songs, you know, the left, right, and all that, and you know, your left, right, left, you know, things like that. They would chant that out. They were the ones that got us motivating. They were like our leaders, and they were cool. They did a pretty good job. I mean, they didn't ask for it. They were just thrown into it, and they stepped up and they did a good job. You know, a couple of young kids. One of them was he was from New York. I don't remember where. And then the other one was from Oklahoma. Good guys. And I haven't kept in touch with anybody, to be honest, from boot camp. Maybe once I start getting through, maybe towards the end of how boot camp ends and how it is, it just kind of ends. You just kind of go your separate ways. You kind of get your orders where you're going, and then like poof, you know, you're gone after graduation. Some of you kind of travel together because you got the same place or things like that. But for the most part, out of probably, I want to say the 40 to 50 of us, I mean, you're pretty much going 40 or 50 different ways. So we get there, and the first night, you know, they're kind of telling us the instructions. Lights off at this hour, reveille's at this hour, and you know, nobody gets up at night, and somebody has to stay on watch, and this and that. We kind of get ready. We go. It's shower time, so they tell us all to dress down, get into our skivvies, which is our underwear, and you know, we got our bathing kits. We got like a little bag with soap and all this stuff, and your toothpaste and your all that. We head in there. And like I've told you guys before, the showers were open. There were no stalls at that time. So you saw everybody's bits and everybody saw your bits, and you kind of get over that. I mean, I was kind of used to it because in high school I played sports. So I was kind of used to the whole locker room thing. But you could tell there were some guys that, you know, weren't, and they were a little bit shy. And they kind of waited until most of the people were done before they went in. And, you know, it's understandable. I mean, it's kind of like, if you're not, I don't want to say used to it, but if you haven't come from that type of like a locker room environment, it's pretty intimidating, you know, when you think you're a young kid, 18, 19 years old for the most part. Most of these guys were that age. I was probably one of the oldest, and at the time I think I was 21, which, you know, for whatever reason, I was one of the oldest. So it really didn't bother me that much. Like I said, the only thing that really bothered me was going to take a shit with no door. To this day, I think I'm literally, you know, traumatized by that, even to this day. Like, I can't go in public. Like, I can't go in a public place. Like, I will literally go home or hold it. I've recently gotten comfortable being able to go at work, and it's only because I spend so much time there, so it's like a comfort place. But for the most part, if I'm out in public, no, ain't going. Ain't gonna do it. It's weird. That's one of the only things that kind of had like a lasting impression on me, was being able to take a shit in public. But yeah, so once you get through all the shower thing and everything like that, you kind of start getting into the routine on what time everything starts. For the most part, it was 6 a.m. Everybody was up and ready. And then for the most part, I think reveille was like, I don't know, like 10 or 11? Was it 10 or 11? They play taps, and that's it. Lights out. Taps, lights out. So, but for the most part of the day, 6 a.m., you wake up, you do your shower routine. Everybody gets in line. You kind of knew where your spot was. We marched everywhere we went. You know, you'd march to go have breakfast, and you learn to eat literally everything in like 5 minutes. You're just scoffing it down, and you're just going here, there. I mean, you're really not getting a lot of sleep. A lot of people are going on sleep deprivation, and you know, and I kind of get the point. It's really to get you used to that everyday, day in and day out, real military world routine of what it's like. So little by little, they're really trying to break you down and then build you back up so that you can get used to this routine. And it really, I believe that it really is a science how they do it. I mean, to be one of the chiefs in boot camp, to be a company commander, I'm sure there's special training they have to go through, not only to learn how to, you know, motivate these kids, but you know, how to do it. Boot camp in a way is done in such a way so that it can break you down the right way and build you back up and motivate you to keep going. Again, I'm only speaking about my experience. I don't know how it is now, because I'll get into it in you know, next episodes in the series about what it's like when I was about to graduate and what I saw boot camp turning into. But while I was there, it was still pretty hardcore. It wasn't as hardcore, I would say, as like, you know, the Vietnam days or even into the 80s and 90s, but it was still a pretty rough, tough place to be. So that's gonna do it for this one. Just wanted to round it out, keep the series going, keep the episodes going. I know you guys enjoy them. I really do. I noticed down in the comments you guys do enjoy it. So I think in the next episode I'm gonna get more into let's see. I'm gonna build it up more to like what it starts to feel like now that the shock is over, right? Because you go from living your normal life into like boom boom, you're in a plane and then you're getting yelled at and then you're having breakfast and you're in this little blue jumpsuit. And I'm gonna get into like what it starts to feel like once you start easing into it and you start getting used to the routine, what it's like to, you know, mail time, get letters from home, what it's like to stand watch, and kind of start building it up towards graduation, what that's all like. That'll probably be in the next episode. So thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thank you for keeping the series going. It's a lot of fun for me to do. I start thinking of a lot of memories, and it really is. It's good for the mind. It's good to think back to the good times and what it was like. And I'll see you guys later. See, I was gonna do the old outro. I was gonna do see you guys on the next one, but I kind of like caught myself. So that's that. Peace. Chicken.